Hey, this is Ryan from Rocket SaaS, and you're listening to the SaaS Marketing Weekly podcast, the show that gives you actionable marketing strategies and campaign ideas to rocket your SaaS business. And if you want even more SaaS marketing ideas, go to saasmarketingweekly.com to join my free newsletter. Hey, welcome to another episode of SaaS Marketing Weekly with me, your host Ryan, the founder of Rocket SaaS. And today we're going to be diving a little bit deeper into what we dived into in the last episode, because I had so much positive feedback from the last episode where I talked about the importance of sales and marketing departments aligning to result in growth. I've had lots of requests to go a little bit deeper to provide more examples of how sales and marketing can align together. So in this episode, I'm going to be talking about lots of different content that the marketing department can be creating for the sales team, which is going to result in the sales team getting more responses, more people into the funnel, and ultimately more sales and business growth. What a lot of SaaS companies are struggling with at the moment in their sales department is just general underperformance. Not enough response to cold emails, not enough response to cold calling or LinkedIn DMs, just trying to push that bottom of the funnel. We can solve your problem, book a demo, have a free trial. People are getting spammed from left, right, and center from so many different companies. It's very, very hard for a sales team to get that cut through if those are only the sort of bottom of the funnel messages that you're sending to people. But what you can do is lean on the marketing department to help you create better content, better assets. Don't just focus on the bottom of the funnel, bring it up to the middle, the top. You'll start to get more success like that. But before I get into those examples, I'm going to give you a couple of stats that I was reading from a Harvard Business Review about cold outreach. So 90% of B2B decision makers don't respond to cold outreach. However, 62% of B2B decision makers respond to content and insights that are relevant to them. So that's what we're going to talk about today. How can we provide your prospects value up front that they're going to consider to be insights that is relevant to them? And that's going to massively ramp up your response rate. It may not immediately ramp up your demos or your free trials, because we're not always going to be pushing that. We're going to be pushing things slightly higher up the funnel. But if you give it time, the net positive result will be huge. So we call it the power of content-driven sales. It's equipping the sales team with a ton of content so they always have the perfect piece of content for each segment of person that they're going after, and also some alternate calls to action if people are not yet ready to book a demo. Because at the end of the day, most of the people that you're reaching out to, your target audience, they're not ready to be booking a demo. They may be your perfect target audience, but they're not ready for a demo. They need a bit more convincing, or they need budget to be released, or they need the CEO to sign it off in a decision. Let's bring things slightly above the bottom of the funnel for now. So what happens when you start sharing valuable insights and educational content is that people begin to trust you. They don't just see you as a vendor that's trying to flog them something. They see you as an authority, an expert in the space. The more time they spend engaging with the content, the more likely they are to know you, like you, trust you. Something I talk about all the time. If your prospects know you, like you, trust you, if they've got the budget, they're going to buy from you. So the marketing department are often creating a lot of the assets that I'm going to be talking about today. They're creating them anyway. But I see so many siloed sales and marketing departments that they're just not aligned. They're not sharing this amazing content between each other. So for example, webinars. If you've got a webinar coming up, the sales team should be promoting that. You can try some A/B tests with just sending an email, inviting people to a webinar, or you could try your normal cold outreach message and you have like a PS line that says, oh, we're also throwing a webinar. So no, that's not going to increase your demos immediately, but getting people into a webinar is a great way to get people into the funnel, get them to learn more about your brand, and then you can nurture them to the bottom of the funnel. Also, case studies, super important. I remember one of my first ever B2B SaaS clients. They were a data company and they went on this massive growth story. It's one of the biggest success stories of my career, I'd say, working with them. And they had a really small sales team at first. It was just 2 of them, but they absolutely hammered me for case studies. They were constantly feeding me customer information, saying, turn this into a PDF. I want a well-designed PDF case study because my sales team just need more and more case studies all the time. We must have made 30, maybe 40 different case study PDFs because the head of sales, he wanted his sales team, no matter which prospect he was speaking to, he wanted a case study that really closely matched the prospect he was speaking to, whether it was industry, job title, company size, geographical location. If he was speaking to a HR company in the East Coast of America that was 30 headcount, he wanted a case study of another company that was super similar because he knew the power of having case studies that speak to the person that you're targeting. And they look at this case study and go, oh, they're exactly like us. They've used it. I'm interested. They've had growth and success. So case studies are super, super powerful for the sales team. And for some reason, I never really understood why, but PDFs work so much better for the sales team than web pages. I've seen the data. When the sales team starts sending case studies as just links to websites, people don't click on them. Or when they do, they don't really spend much time on the page. But there's something special about an attached PDF, really professional, slick design, something that can be forwarded, something that can be printed in a meeting. They work really, really well. So case studies, I would say, is arguably the most important thing that I'm going to tell you on this podcast. Marketing teams should be churning out as many PDF case studies as possible and give it to the sales team. And the sales team's success will massively increase if they can ping out the right case studies to the matching person. So moving on, another one, infographics. The thing about B2B SaaS and startups is it's quite hard to explain what you do in a cold outreach message. You've only got a few lines. It's very hard to describe a B2B SaaS, particularly if it's innovative, if you're doing something different that other companies haven't done before. It's very hard to describe it so that people get it, understand the benefits, and think, yeah, I want to book a demo. So I would always encourage the marketing team to create infographics. It's like a diagram of like, this is the problem on the left-hand side. This is our solution. This is how it works. Then on the right-hand side of the diagram, this is the result that you get out of it. Anything that you can help to visually display what you do. Possibly software graphics, but that often causes more harm than good if you just copy and paste a software graphic into an email because it just doesn't, you can't really read it. Can't really see what's going on. So I'd be sparing with that. Only use that if your software looks really good or get a designer to give it an improvement on the UI. But those sorts of visual explanations can really, really help. You've also got things like ebooks that the sales team can be pushing out. So it's not coming across like a sales email. It's coming across like a helpful email. You say, hey, we've just released this industry guide with some data about your industry that you might find really interesting. Would you like me to send it to you? They respond and say, yes, please, sounds interesting. Now the sales team have got a conversation happening. So I've seen that work really well. There's also the same with blogs. The sales team can be sending blogs to people. I wouldn't probably do just an email saying, hey, here's a blog, but I certainly have it in like the PS line or somewhere within the email. Because you also have to remember that if you get people to visit your site, marketing can then retarget to those people. I've talked about retargeting ads on a previous podcast episode. If you're not sure how it works, you can check that out. Episode 14, that one is. So those are some examples of content that can be created by marketing to support sales. This type of content really improves credibility in a brand, and it massively increases the likelihood of getting a response and getting a conversion. It may take a little bit longer. You may have to nurture people through the funnel, but if you have this built into your sales and marketing strategy of pushing content out there, not just immediately trying to go for the bottom of the funnel, give it some time and you will start to see better results coming through. And you should be having regular meetings between the sales and the marketing teams or the sales and the marketing agency to discuss what content sales would really benefit from. Because the salespeople are on the front line. They're receiving objections, questions, reasons why they don't want to go ahead with you. So there should be a discussion about how marketing can create content to prevent that from happening or to answer questions that people have got. Because there's a big difference between a prospect saying something like, oh, have you ever had success working with Scandinavian companies? And the salesperson might say, oh, yeah. Well, we work with loads of Scandinavian companies. Yeah, great. And the other person thinks, yeah, okay, sure. Or the salesperson could say, yeah, we've got great experience working with Scandinavian companies. I've got a couple of case study PDFs. Should I send them over? Suddenly you've got authority in there and trust. So it's really important that sales and marketing are collaborating and understanding what your target audience is asking for, what they're needing, what can help push them over the edge. So that's it. Those are my tips on how you can better align sales and marketing. But if you have the issue where you don't have the marketing department in-house to create all these great assets to support your sales team, you should book a call with me. Me and my agency do exactly that for B2B SaaS brands. Go to rocket-saas.io. You can see how much we cost to basically become your marketing department and create all these assets like I've talked to you about, along with running ads, landing pages, and your overall marketing strategy. You can book a call with me. I'd love to hear more about your brand, and we can get your proposal on partnering together with your marketing. So I hope you enjoyed this pod. Look forward to seeing you next week.